Welcome to Torah Smash, the podcast for nerdy Jews, where our lives of Jewish learning collide with our love of nerd culture. In each episode, we discuss what we lovingly call a Torah Smash, which we have defined as a beautiful collision of one thing from the world of Judaism with another from nerd culture. I am RDY, and joining me today are
Barack Malkin.
Ethan Lane Miller.
Rabbi Ben David.
Rabbi Eric Linder.
Rabbi Stephen Wise.
Wow.
That's right. Today we have three guests and we're not even playing D&D.
Woo!
I know. I am so excited to have these three colleagues and friends for today's episode. Rabbis Ben David, Eric Linder, and Stephen Wise. Rabbi Benjamin P. David is the rabbi at Knesset Israel in Elkins Park, Pennsylvania, outside of Philly. He was ordained in 2004, which means we overlapped in New York for 2 years. He's a prolific writer and scholar, including an amazing study on the first chapter of Genesis called 7 Days, Many Voices, and a chapter in a book that inspired today's episode called This Is Your Song Too, which we'll get to in a moment. Rabbi David is a competitive distance runner, having completed 20 marathons, including the Boston Marathon twice and the New York City Marathon 4 times. He's the co-founder of the Running Rabbis, a social justice initiative that works with clergy worldwide to run and walk in the name of worthy causes. I also think my two co-hosts will especially appreciate that he is married to Lisa David, director of URJ's Camp Harlem.
Woo!
Rabbi Eric Jason Linder, as of this moment, has become one of our venerated returning guest hosts. He serves Congregation Children of Israel in Athens, Georgia, where he resides with his wife and 2 young boys. Raised in Plantation, Florida, Eric developed a love for the Jewish community after being bribed with $20 to participate in his local youth group. While singing, playing, and making friends at Camp Coleman, he continued to nurture his interest in Judaism. He brings the passions of music, movies, and technology to his rabbinate. Rabbi Linder is into general geek culture. He classifies himself as both a Star Wars geek and a Trekkie, is a huge Apple product guy, and is always looking for the next great app for productivity, automation, workflow improvements, or bourbon organization. Rabbi Stephen Wise is the spiritual leader of Shaarei Beth El Congregation of Oakville, Ontario, Canada, outside of Toronto. He is the executive of the Interfaith Council of Halton and the executive of the Reform Rabbis of Canada, treasurer of the Reform Rabbis of Greater Toronto, a member of the Halton Police Service Multi-Faith Task Force, a force of nature on the CCAR board, and an author and speaker on Israel as a startup nation with his first book, Israel Repairing the World. Rabbi Wise and his wife Cheryl, the director of education at Shaarei Beth El, have 3 children, the first of whom was born 7 weeks before my first. Welcome, friends. So good to see you all.
Oh, what great intros. Thanks.
Longest bios we've had.
Yeah, that would definitely, the bio is going to be most of the podcast. I have gathered these fabulous rabbis and friends to talk about a band that I've been following since 1994. That band is 4 boys from Vermont known as Phish. Now, I have wanted to talk about Phish for a long time, but I've hesitated because I did not know if we could really consider this nerd culture. But I do know I have a tendency to nerd out about them. I was inspired to rethink bringing this topic to us with the publication of the book This Is Your Song Too, Phish and Contemporary Jewish Identity, which I mentioned Rabbi David has a chapter in. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Let's get this show on the road. This band has quite a nerdy following, in part because so many of us keep track of our Phish data, like how many live shows we've seen. Live Phish shows are so much a part of the culture that many fans, spelled with a PH, get their shakedown street cred by enumerating their shows. I know my number. I'm sure my guests know theirs. There are even websites and apps that can track which show you've been to, how many times you've caught a particular song, and how well rated the shows are, plus more data. But it all boils down to the music. Some of us dance like maniacs. Some listen quietly, surrendering to the flow. Others will learn as many Phish songs as possible to jam out among friends. And whether your name is Marco Esquandonas, Prince Caspian, or Susie Greenberg, whether they're playing instruments or switch to a megaphone or a vacuum cleaner, these four musicians have brought an incredible amount of joy to our lives. So this is not going to be much of a guessing game today. I'll let you guess as we talk about Phish as a band and what makes it Jewish.
I will start off by just saying I don't listen to. I probably know the songs. I just couldn't say, oh, that's a Phish song. So I don't know where Ethan. If you want to jump in and just help me from being trampled by these wolves before.
Oh, yeah, I'm completely with you.
Oh yeah.
Which is where the smash comes in because you probably listen to music.
Yeah.
This is accurate.
It's just not as good as Phish.
You know, we were just talking the other day about a good friend of ours, another rabbi in Florida named Andy Rosenkrantz, who was saying that his kids are asking about Phish and they'd like to know more. And David and I got so excited because it's like that we're entering that, like he just had his bar mitzvah, but that's nothing compared to his introduction to the world of Phish. That's way bigger than a bar mitzvah. And so then now we're trying to give him some song titles and some specific concerts that he should listen to, right?
Yeah, but you requested Union Federal right away, which I thought was weird.
You know, Weird Al hasn't done a Phish song, so that's why I haven't been introduced yet.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I did realize I'm realizing I did introduce my two kids to Phish a few years ago when we went to go visit my best friend who is a volunteer scuba diver at the Baltimore Aquarium. So
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
I don't know about you guys, but my kids have taken over music whenever we're together, like in the car and stuff. But once in a while, they'll throw me a bone and they'll just kind of like a Phish song will just come on the car. I'm like, hey, wait a second. They're like, Dad, this is for you. And I'm like, hey, and it's like their most radio friendly song, like bouncing around the room, something that's like easy for everyone to handle, and it's shorter than every live song, and then they go back to their terrible music. But it's nice of them to know.
My kids are very jaded about it because I have it on all the time. So like a couple weeks ago, and they're not into it. My oldest, I brought her to a couple shows, and she doesn't know how good she's had it. The three shows she's seen with me, one was at MSG, one was at Dick's, and one was on the beach in Atlantic City. And it's like,
okay, I want to interrupt you just for a second to explain to Barack and Ethan, these venues are very special places.
I can elaborate. Right. So Dick's is in Colorado, Madison Square Garden. Anyway, so but my two boys are so just totally they're not into it. I've like really I think I've effectively turned them off. And like I remember a song came on, a song called the Mango Song, and like my middle boy who's now like 15, so he's a little tough, rough around the edges. He's like gazing out the window, very like despondent. He's like, bro, this is not even a song. I was like,
by the way, we were listening to Cavern yesterday because my 5-year-old likes it, and Emily's like, Eric, what are you doing?
yeah.
So, but David, I was thinking about your intro, and I'm not intentionally being contrarian with you, but like I don't know that it's all about the music. Like I think and I actually think you'd agree with me that
I do.
I'm late to Phish, and David and I have been to many shows together. We're trying to get Ben and Steven to something one day. But like for me, there really is a parallel. People talk about it being like a worship experience or a communal experience, but it for anyone that likes live music and the reason that you like live music, I don't care who the band is, Phish kind of takes that to a completely different level. And it's something about those 3 hours. They'll never be replicated. They'll make mistakes. They'll be like complete gas. Some will be funny. Some will be like, what the heck was that? But like
sometimes they forget the words.
Yeah, they forget the words and the crowd loves it. And like just like, I do on the Bema sometimes. Not as famous as Phish.
I think it's least about the music. I mean, I think if it were only about the music, why would we be there? I mean, the music is like kind of good at best. Like Trey is not a great vocalist, and like they're all good, but you would not call them like, legendary at their various instruments. I think the music is sort of the least of it. I think it's community, it's lights, it's the people that you've been going to shows with for 30 years.
I think Trey is legendary with his instrument.
And
I think
I think
he's the one
Fishman
of the
is
four
too.
who's legendary.
Yeah.
He's a very, very good drummer, but he's nowhere near like the Neil Pearts and
Right. They're all great, but you wouldn't call them like the greatest of their generation. It doesn't, the
Yeah.
music alone doesn't warrant the following, I guess is what I would say.
I think it's also the connection they have among the four of them, where they can jam for so long and use the music as the way they communicate with each other. And in that sense, for me, it starts with the music. The lyrics are goofy, and I have a close friend who's a cantor. It's not my wife, it's a different one, who will never go to a Phish show because he can't stand Trey Anastasio's voice. And because vocals are so important to him as a cantor, he won't go to the shows. But I want to also move us to the Judaism, because we are a Torah smash podcast, and we've gotten a lot of inside baseball. Yes, I'm using a sports ball reference to talk Phish. And no one has guessed the smash itself, but a lot of what you said, Eric, and what you said, Ben, have touched on what I'm going for. All right, Barack, take it.
Jonah. We're doing the story of Jonah. We're going big fish. That's what we're doing.
Can we guess? Can we guess?
Yeah.
Minion.
Oh, I mean, connected. Minion is an aspect of it for sure.
I mean, that's where I was going. I was imagining that like each experience in a synagogue will never be replicated.
Yeah. And did you mean Minion just as like going to services, Eric?
Well, yes.
You meant the small yellow people.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen people at Phish shows dressed as minions.
Specifically, that there is a group that creates something special about the service that otherwise wouldn't exist if there wasn't a minion. So that goes to like Ben's piece of the group experience. There's something special, magical, effervescent. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Sure.
Maybe.
Yeah. And to build on that, David, in your intro, you did kind of highlight the word joy. I think that's really important. Like when we talk about Judaism in terms of like oneg Shabbat, right? It's like adding in that layer of joy and ecstasy. That is part of the experience. It's getting there. It's like you said, being with the people that you like to be with, often outdoor shows, but it can be an indoor show. But that sort of like the walking in the door and just breathing the air, knowing you're sort of part of an experience, part of a family. People who go to Phish shows all kind of know what they're getting into, even those who are there for the first time. But there's a feeling, there's a sense of joy that like we're all going to be part of something special. We're going to be in this together, and I think that's something that you can also experience. Hopefully in synagogue, a lot of rabbis on this call right now, so we're hoping that's there. It's not every time, but we do hope that there's a sense of joy that you're experiencing, that you love so much what you're doing with the people that you're with. You're going to come out of that with that kind of feeling.
And
we're happy that you're here.
Right, I was going to say that. And of course, they have a song called Joy. And they have all these references to like really being content and present in ways that we use around, I think, the synagogue and specifically the sanctuary, sort of leave your headache and all the angst and all of the strife outside. This is a different space, different arena, literally. They have that line in Theme from the Bottom. They have a line in Golden Age, like clap your hands if you think you're in the right place. All of these sort of references to just being here and not overly burdened by the heaviness of the world out there for just a little while.
And I think too, there's a parallel, and certainly in the four of us that know each other well. But Barack and Ethan, if you're friends with David, you I'm sure you fit in this category also of the idea of like taking what you do and what we do very seriously, but not ourselves. And so like being willing to be silly or shout through a megaphone or like dress up on Purim, like, in a giant 9-foot dinosaur inflatable costume.
Or Minion, for example.
That was just on a Tuesday, not Purim. But
or not,
you know what I mean? I think just kind of being real and authentic and also appreciating the silliness of it all.
They urge a vulnerability, that you just sort of be honest with who you are, be who you are, come as you are. And we use that language around the synagogue too, that this is a place for you to be vulnerable, to be true to yourself, leave all sort of pretense behind. I think there's major similarities there.
It's nice.
Absolutely. And that really is the point of the smash is that when we go into a synagogue space and when we go into a fish show, there are things that we are familiar with and things we may never have heard before. And I think about a show that Eric and I went to together in Alpharetta, Georgia. We've seen four shows there together, the two of us. And the second one was I think in 2023, where the drummer John Fishman and the guitarist vocalist Trey Anastasio switched places during the encore, and they did the night the lights went out in Georgia because it was Georgia. It was this experience that like none of us had ever seen that before. I think it might have been the second time they ever did that song. And Fishman was so bad at it that it became part of the fun to try it badly. And when we've done, I'm sure that there are times when we've tried a poem or tried a new version of a blessing or tried a new melody that we didn't know quite well enough. It wasn't, quote unquote, performance ready or something like that when we go into a space. And yet people who are there for the first time might come up to us afterwards and say, great idea. You should practice and try again. Do you have those kind of moments?
Every bar and bat mitzvah that I've like ever talked to, they say I'm super nervous. I say, so tell me why you're nervous. And they say, I'm worried I'm going to mess up. And I said, well, let me like unburden you of that. You are going to mess up. I said, the only reason I know that is because I'm going to mess up too. I've led 10,000 services and I messed up every single one of them somehow, sometimes in really enormous, obvious ways and sometimes in super small, subtle ways. But like, it's like that where it's not about sort of perfecting the music for Phish. That's not their goal. It's about sort of creating an experience. And I would think that's our goal too. We're not there to get the liturgy right. We're there to sort of give people entrance into something that's profound and bigger. So
it's the spontaneity Phish is what people love, which is interesting because your comment about the cantor going in there and sort of being so worried about the specific tone and voice of the lead singer Trey, but yet Phish music and cantero music have so much in common because it's the idea of taking the music in front of you and then adding to it and building upon it and sort of taking it in different directions. I mean, that's the spontaneity is really what can make cantorial music so beautiful. And certainly with Phish, I mean, they take it into songs that can go 10, 12 minutes long.
And Steve, I would say the entire worship experience. I mean, I think, something I think about is, for the most part, I would guess that our Friday night services liturgically are pretty much the same, right? But like you bring what's happening in the moment, or if someone's having a birthday, or you think of something on the fly on the bema, or you flub up and then make fun of yourself for it. I mean, those moments are the ones that people remember and they're like, wow, that was an energetic service. That was fun. That was,
Mhm.
and it's that kind of thing.
those tend to be the best moments.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let me ask the question specifically for Brock and Ethan so we can hear from them a little bit today. Are there things that happen during services or can you identify a moment from a service where you've gone like, oh, this version is really taking me to another place?
Yeah.
Yes, actually. The first time, and I'll need your help, that the synagogue I worked at, shout out Temple Emmanuel in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, the first time they used the new High Holiday books. I remember the Rosh Hashanah one. There was a particular moment where I sat back and was like, wow, that was very powerful.
Yeah, I've started to have those experiences at my current congregation, Temple Ner Tamid in Bloomfield, on second day Rosh Hashanah. The cantor there, Cantor Meredith Greenberg, has a beautiful voice and it is elevated exponentially when her wife, Leora Perlman, and Perry Smilo join her for second day services, and the three of them harmonize in a really spiritually uplifting manner that I've never experienced before, and it has completely changed my view. Like, I grew up going to second day services. They were all lay led. And so to go to a second day Rosh Hashanah service where that is happening, usually the harmonies at a second day service for me have been two people, eight harmonies. And so the fact that
Hmm.
there's like three people with a beautiful harmony really, really changes my connection to the liturgy and the prayers and the blessings on second day Rosh Hashanah. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
I'm impressed you go to second day.
It does speak
Me
to
too.
something that Brock, that you said that I think resonates with me, is that Phish does something very well that I think happens at synagogue when sort of done well. We've been hearing these songs all of our lives. Many of us, we've been hearing Shalom Rav and Ritzay and these songs forever and ever. But if we're in the right mindset, or if the sort of the context is different, we hear it in a way that's totally new. And, there are Phish songs, I'm sure I'm not alone here, that I've heard probably 40 or 50 times live, like, I don't know, Mike's Song or Chalk Dust, these like classics that they play kind of often. But sometimes it'll really hit you because there's a line that you just haven't paid attention to or didn't really notice, until something was just right or just wrong. And I think there's something there that Phish does well too. Even a song that's so sort of familiar can be made to feel new.
You know
I
what?
love that.
I want to shout out Sarah Avner, the cantoral soloist at Congregation Beth Israel in Austin, who, whenever I hear her on the bima or just performing, it doesn't matter if I've heard it 10 times from someone else. I feel like I'm experiencing it for the first time.
Yeah, Sarah's amazing. Shout back out to Sarah Avner. If you're from CBI in Austin and listening to this, please send her our love. I actually had it in my notes to shout out something that she taught me last year with bringing innovative music to liturgy. She taught me Jelly Roll's I Am Not Okay as a Misha Berach. And it's this wonderful, like, very, very often the tone of Misha Berach is we want you to feel better and you're going to get healing and we hope God helps you. But I am not okay is, well, I'm going to get in the dirt with you. This sucks. And we know this sucks. And we do believe it's going to get better. And part of the reason that it's okay that this all sucks is because it sucks for all of us at some point or another. And for me, that was a very powerful Misha Berach that she taught me that I have now used, and I've taught it to the congregation I'm at this year, and the cantor at this congregation has used it a couple times, and I'm just like, I hope that her teaching keeps going forward. Are there songs that you use for blessings that people wouldn't necessarily think fit, but you find exciting and prayerful?
I have referenced a couple times, at least in recent years, given the state of things, Lonely Trip.
Nice.
Oh,
Giv-
nice.
Given there's a loneliness that exists, I think, for many of us around Israel, around politics, that I think there are a lot of us that feel we're sort of on a shrinking island, as it were. So that there's something about that song that I've definitely come back to that. I mean, I can't overdo it because, at some point they'll be like, what's with the rabbi in this song? Like, it's not
Yeah.
too much. But that's certainly a song I've referenced.
Well, and this is a little bit of a meta point, but that's something, I mean, really any live band does this, but I think Phish, another thing about Phish too, for people who don't know them, is whenever, like, they'll play 2 or 3 nights at the same venue before going to the next venue, they will not repeat a song ever. So like when they
Typically, yeah.
play, when they play, when you go see them play and your friend saw them the night before, like, you won't hear any of the songs your friend heard. It's not like seeing Taylor Swift where it's the exact same show, which, by the way, I would have loved to see Taylor Swift. I mean, it's just a
Or
different kind of
most
experience.
bands really.
Most bands,
Any
yeah.
non-jam band. Yeah.
Like I saw Nine Inch Nails a few months ago. Like that's a very produced show. Every song is in its order, in its place. Like Phish is not that. But what you were saying, what made me think of this is kind of the balance and being a rabbi of like what is familiar that people are comfortable with and what can I kind of challenge people to, whether it's a new prayer or a new melody or something in my sermon, whatever it is, there needs to be a mixture. And I think Phish in their live shows is very aware of like, you want to give people some of the familiar hits, but like sometimes they go so like when people talk about David, what's the kind a Stonehenge show, which is like based on this thing that
Gamehenge.
Amen.
Gamehenge. Thank you. You could explain it better than I can, but it's like a little more. You got to be really deep in the
Eric,
geekdom for that.
Eric,
Well, they did all of Gamehenge and New Year's last year, right?
Yeah.
So like Gamehenge is a story that Trey Anastasio wrote, I believe, as a master's thesis, and it's I mean kind of a rock opera, kind of a narrated musical. It's this fantasy world that he's created, creatures that he's made up like the multi-beast and the lizards and there's all of this Gamehenge mysticism, so to speak, that the people and it's fascinating that you said deep in the Phish lore because it reminds me of Jewish mysticism in that way that yeah, you've got Phish songs who are the album listening fans and the concert going fans who know like the mainstream stuff, but to really enjoy an entire Gamehenge rather than just like hearing a Wilson once in a while or hearing a Lizards once in a while, it's a different world and it gets you deep into it.
I was going to say, David, earlier you sort of said this idea that Phish won't repeat a song over the course of like 3, 4 days, 5 days. That's like for rabbis where we have, 5 days of high holy days and we can't repeat a sermon. We have to make sure
Oh,
we come up with
nice.
enough good stuff
Yeah.
over the days,
Yeah.
which then made me think of a fun lyric, whatever you do, take care of your shoes.
Yeah.
That's Matt Durbin, who was supposed to be on this. Rabbi Matt Durbin. That's his favorite line.
Really? Okay. Noam Katz also used it. I took him on a canoe trip for the first time when he moved up here to Canada, up in Ontario, and we got stuck in like this very mucky part of our trip, and we're carrying the canoe over our heads, and his shoe fell off in the muck, and like he's just walking barefoot. And he almost lost his shoe, and we get back in the boat. I'm like, make sure you get your shoes. He's like, hey, exactly right. Whatever you do, take care of your shoes. And then he used it as like a jumping off point for a sermon that he gave in High Holidays a month later. So funny. That lyric always comes back to me.
Are there other like I know like Waiting in the Velvet Sea has been used ad nauseum for Mi Chamocha, but are there other things that you bring in to
David, you mentioned Misha Berach before, and I had a cantorial soloist a few years ago do Coldplay's "Fix You" as Misha Berach, with the first paragraph going right into Misha Berach with the same chords, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, I've heard that as well, and I like it because it's the same chords.
Yes,
So it's
that's
nice.
right.
I've also heard it with a tag from Debbie Friedman's "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy," which I like. I like. It's nice that to have that tag, but it also makes the song way too long.
Even just some of the titles of their songs lend themselves to sort of jumping off points for sermons or discussions, A Wave of Hope, for instance, or Free
Yeah.
or Light. These
Light is one of my favorites.
yeah, these are all just like very suggestive of Jewish themes and ideas. They're like there for the taking.
Oh yeah. Why do you think that is that so many of Phish's lyrics and ideas speak so much to a Jewish specifically audience?
I mean, we haven't said that half the band is Jewish.
True.
I don't know if that's so
Wait,
much.
half?
Yeah, Mike Gordon, who plays bass, and John
Right.
Fishman, who plays drums.
Oh, I didn't know Fishman was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
I think Mike Gordon is more of a little bit more of an informed Jew than Fishman is.
I think that's true. I think he went to day school, and I think he has.
And I know that I know that Gordon brought Yerushalayim Shel Zahav and Avinu Malkeinu to the band.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Both of
Does
which
Phish perform Jewish songs?
Those two.
they
Oh, great
on a
question.
very
Thanks for setting us
on a
up.
very yeah on a
Yerushalayim
very
Shel Zahav and Avinu Malkeinu are the two famous songs that Phish covers quite often.
That's
well,
awesome.
not that's the
Yeah.
thing, not quite often, right?
Okay,
So
yeah.
it's really special
More
when
often
you
than
get-
all other bands.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
right.
More often than all
Yes,
other
more-
bands except Barbra Streisand.
Right.
or Cantor Shlomo. Yeah,
Will they perform that at their live shows?
They
Yeah,
they
I
have.
got-
On
It's been
occasion.
a
Oh,
minute.
cool.
so I saw.
Have they done
I
it
saw
since
them in-
2023?
I don't think so.
Ooh,
I don't
we
know.
could
You
look
look it
that
up.
up.
They played in Avinu Malkeinu last summer.
The last time they played Avinu Malkeinu was April 21st, 2022.
Yeah.
They have played it a total of 83 times.
Wow.
Hmm.
But not since 2022.
Are you on Phish.net?
Not since 2022. I am on Phish.net.
That's what I'm-
Sorry. It's fantastic that
Yes.
they got Phish.net.
That it's .net.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, Phish.net is the fan-based data site. Phish.com is the band-based get your concert tickets and news
Yeah.
site.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And you always
Phish.net.
know when they're going to play Avinu Malkeinu because there's a song they always play immediately before and immediately after. It's like
Which are instrumentals, right?
the
Yeah.
man who stepped into yesterday.
Yeah.
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 The same is true for also Sprach Zarathustra, aka the theme for 2001. They
2001.
always do the same.
Yeah, that's a winner. Oh man, is that a winner?
Yeah. Oh man, you go nuts over that one, Eric.
I love that.
But in some ways, I think the lyric. I mean, I think the lyrics to Phish mostly are silly and nonsensical. But the ones that aren't that way are like Torah in the sense that because it's not such a very rigid, strict structure, you can kind of import your own interpretations to it. And I think that's something, certainly, that's something I do like about the music and specifically the lyrics, is the
Okay,
ability
rapid
to
fire.
kind of do that.
Favorite Phish lyric. One of mine is, although the lies may bite, the truth has all the teeth.
Yeah, that's good.
Y'all?
Job, Mr. Forensic.
So they're
that's a
used.
question.
While Steven and Ben are thinking,
What
there
about
used to-
what about me and Ethan?
What there? Yeah. While everyone else is thinking, there used to be this Phish newsletter that came out once a month that I subscribed to in the 90s,
Yeah,
and
that's old.
and every single issue there was this like questions from fans, and every single issue someone else would say, what are the actual lyrics to You Enjoy Myself? And every single issue the answer was, I'm glad you asked. The lyrics are, and they would be different every time.
All right, Steven and Ben, what are your favorite lyrics? I'll give mine first. Mine is blub 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 blub.
Oh God.
I don't know. I would just have to like pull something from.
I know. It's like whatever I'm listening to.
Well, let me
Yeah, I'm
ask
just
this
gonna-
then.
yeah.
I'm going to ask a better. I'm going to ask a different question then. Ethan and I are not Phish people, and there's going to be people who are listening who are not Phish people. If
Yeah.
they've made it this far, what is the first song they should go and check out right now? That you say this is Phish. You're going to enjoy this one. Everybody enjoys this one.
There are a couple
Weezer?
like Phish 101 kind of songs. Like You Enjoy Myself is that, and I would say that Tweezer is that.
Yeah.
Tweezer, I don't know. I
So-
feel like You Enjoy Myself is 201.
that's
I feel
the
like-
I
one.
agree with David.
Yeah, I feel like you should listen to like All of Fuego before you get into the old
Divided
school
Sky.
stuff. Yeah, Divided Sky is great,
Yeah.
but yeah.
It's sort of like,
So there's
you know,
an album. There's a
it's like
live
it's like the
album
Beatles.
called-
Like, sorry, Eric. It's like the Beatles, where it's like, how can you figure out what song? I mean, each album has its own unique traits, and you could say, I'll start with like "Love Me Do" and do the easy stuff, but is that really Beatles? But if you start with like "Revolver," is that too deep? So Phish kind of like the same way. I mean, for me, the first album I got a hold of was Hoist, and
Yeah.
it's actually kind of more mainstream singing. There's a lot of the songs are a little bit shorter, and so like if I could just like I love
Oh
that song.
yeah.
Like I could just listen to that over and over again, but it's a shorter song. It's
Mm.
not a huge jam. It's beautiful harmonies. There's a female voice there. So but it's still a Phish song. It's beautiful. It's kind of what I love. But then my second favorite song is probably Run Like an Antelope, which is almost a jam to the entire song to the last 30 seconds when it goes run, 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 run. And I just love that song. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's like what you listen to, what's going to stick
But
with you.
but there is an album, a live album called A Live One, the
That's
word
a great
ONE,
album.
a live one.
Yeah.
And
Good one.
it's considered to be like an intro live album,
Yeah.
like a hook. Another thing, if you want to go a deeper introduction, is at this point, when was the Baker's Dozen band? 6 years ago, 7 years ago?
Yeah.
2017.
17.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so in
Yeah.
2017, Phish played 13 nights at Madison Square Garden over the course of about 2.5 weeks. And
Yeah.
each night was themed after a flavor of a donut. And concert goers got that donut when they walked. I didn't go to any of
What?
these, but
In
and the
conjunction
set
with
list
Federal Donuts,
Yes. And
Philly
did not
favorite.
repeat a song for 13
and
shows.
13 shows did not repeat a single song, and the set
Unbelievable.
lists like used the theme of that donut flavor either in the lyrics or in metaphorically. And so like if you really want to get what Phish is about, those are 13 shows you could listen to where you'd get most of their catalog because nothing repeats. It's
Yeah.
super creative, it's
Like
live.
165 songs or something.
Wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely. And which is, one of the things that's good about them being a jam band is like the night they did Jelly Donuts, they probably only did 4 songs the whole night.
I might have been there that night. I was at 2 of those.
Wow.
Strawberry jam, I think, was the theme, and like jamming was the
I was at
Yeah.
Cinnamon, and I remember because they closed with Cinnamon Girl by Neil Young.
Oh,
Nice.
right.
Wow. Yeah, we haven't even talked about the fact that when they pull out a cover, it's just unbelievable. Or those
Yeah.
Halloween shows where they would do full
Yes.
albums, cover to cover, the White Album. Unbelievable.
Or
I've
they
been to
pulled-
3 Halloween shows.
Oh,
I saw them do Fish from the Future when they premiered Fuego. I did Casvot Voxed,
we're
and I
getting
did
deep into
Sci-Fi
the
Soldier.
woods. Hey, Barack and Ethan,
Yes,
are you still with us here?
Yeah, no, you are.
Oh, sorry. I was asleep for a second.
I'll sleep there.
I was gonna say you're reeling us in.
Oh, God.
That's all I have. RDY does this to our episodes where he just throws out puns because he doesn't have the topic. So apologies on my side for
getting him
doing it.
back.
That's
I'm gonna
right,
get
I do.
all the time.
But if we want to bring it back to the Judaic stuff, there's almost
Yes,
always a minion at a Phish show.
Like literally, yeah.
Literally, yeah.
You can usually find some form of Chabad in the parking lot.
Did you
And there's-
have you seen they actually have like a booth now on Shakedown Street where they'll like rep to fill in with you
Yeah.
and give you it's wild. They have like acronyms for that are not family friendly to like but mean like rapping to fill in.
Right.
Would they spell to fill in with a PH?
That's funny. I think I've seen it that way. You had mentioned, Ben, earlier that being at a Phish show is not, I'm going to alter it a little bit, is not only about the music, it's about the people, it's about the ability to let go. We mentioned a little bit of like the weird culture. I've been known to wear a Fishman muumuu when I go to see shows.
What do you
I
mean
just
no? You
love
do it every time.
I mean, every time the two of us have gone to shows, but when I went to a show with my son Alex, I didn't wear it because I could see the look on his face when he said, "Are you going to wear the muumuu?"
Because
But-
I want to wear it. Is that the next sentence? that came out?
Because I want to wear it. Actually, he said, "Are you going to wear the dress?"
Mm.
That ability to just kind of not need to conform and yet be welcomed no matter who you are or how you come in or even in the jokiness there are all these memes about the different drug users at Phish shows and how you can tell the difference of whether someone is using beer or hard alcohol or marijuana or hallucinogen or whatever. in the Jewish world, no matter where you come into it, you are welcomed by the community just because you're there. You know, we're happy that you're here. You're a part of the community, and that's an important part of both being a Phish fan and being a participant in the Jewish community.
I think in both situations, there's all these sort of subsets of people. And so therefore you're never really alone. Like for everyone wearing the Fishman, like you would never be alone wearing that Fishman muumuu at a show,
That's
obviously.
true.
Like,
Right.
you know, there's the folks who are a little older, folks who are a little younger, you know, there's all sorts of sexualities and races. And like no matter who you are, you will not be the only person of that anything. And there's a sense of comfort in that. And I think there's a level of that at the synagogue too. Like whoever you are, wherever you're coming from, like we got that. Like we have people for you. We're ready to be there for you.
Yeah.
I was just also going to add quickly how great it is running into congregants at Phish shows. Like that, honestly, that is the best thing.
For sure. I've done it too.
Why? Why would that sounds like the worst thing?
I can't speak for everyone, but you are bonded with that person forever. Like you have now connected on a fundamental level. Like we are seeing each other at our most real and honest place. And I love that. Like
in a muumuu.
In a
I'm not in a
muumuu.
muumuu. I mean, no judgment to people who are in a muumuu, but I mean, Stephen, maybe you disagree, but I kind of love that.
I guess
I
I'm
love
just,
it too.
Yeah, I guess I was just thinking about the drug culture and, you know, I mean, people are in different states. I don't know what, this is a family friendly podcast, but, you know, people, I guess, you know, I like the idea of the bonding, but there's also a certain vulnerability and a certain time and space for you to kind of be on your own and doing your own thing.
Well, I do. So I'll give a kind of a reverse of that. David and I were at one of the shows we went to, and David's wearing the fisherman dress, and you know I was probably wearing a t-shirt and shorts, and probably holding a beer in my hand, and like we took a selfie together, and it's obvious what David's wearing. It's obvious we're at a concert, and one of my congregants didn't think it was appropriate. Like the whole thing was
Oh, I
like this is
remember that.
like this is too silly for my rabbi, meaning me, not David. But like, and my response to that is, you know, I'm not going to apologize for going to a concert and you know having fun. Like I am a human being, and I think you know Ben. I think one of the things I'm guessing that you like about seeing congregants is it's like a reminder, like we're all human. Like I'm not just this person on a pulpit. Like we have a relationship. We could
It's
talk
that.
about other. Yeah.
I'm sure there's longer conversation there. Sometimes the congregant does want to hang out with you for the whole show, and I probably don't want
David
that.
has a story about that too.
Is there? Can I ask?
That's what I thought you were talking about.
Is there an aspect of this? And I'm good. Forgive me, rabbis. I don't remember the phrasing. I think it's Mayan Ayin. Is that what it is? RDY. The
Marat
Marit
Marit
Ayin.
Mayan Ayin, right? Like while you're not participating, right? And Rabbi Linder was having a drink, which he might do out at a restaurant, and so like the location I think might matter. Right, the association. Right. So like I don't know if right, Ben, you said that you're not worried about that because you don't do any of those things. But if a congregant who doesn't know you personally just sees you at a show, there's this connection that you're at a Phish show, which is known for these extravagant.
But so are they. So it's like,
yeah, true. Yeah.
You know.
Congregants are allowed to do whatever they want. There's always a sort of a different standard that we're.
I also think there's also a big difference between bumping into a congregant who is also in it for the same experience that you're in it for, and posting a picture on social media. There's a difference. And I think the person who reacted to you, Eric, was reacting to something you posted, which is different because you're putting out something that not everyone gets, which is also kind of what we're doing with this podcast.
Right.
So this has all been wonderful, but now I'm on my way. I want to thank you so much, all three of you, for offering to come waste your time with us this evening. Are there things that you would like to shout out, projects you're working on, websites, social media? We'll go backwards from the way you were introduced. Rabbi Stephen Wise.
Thanks. I'm working with a co-author, Neil Amswitch, on a book about Judaism and Star Wars, which I think would be perfect for this podcast. And I'm hoping that it will come out in time for the 50th anniversary of the 1977 release of Star Wars. And as the chapters get written and put together, happy to come back on this show and talk a little bit more about it.
Super fun. I thought you were going to say the 50th anniversary of Torah Smash. I was like, you're taking a long time to write that draft.
So my social media handle is Geeky Rabbi, Instagram, Twitter. I haven't been as active as I have been in the past, but find some interesting stuff there.
My Instagram's at RabbiBPD. Yes, I have a chapter in This Is Your Song Too, which is about the intersection of Judaism and Phish. And there's some fabulous articles in there, essays, including from a few colleagues of ours. And just co-authored with our colleague, Rabbi Lindsay Danziger, The Sacred Struggle, which is all about responses to trauma.
And can I also shout out your chapter in This Is Your Song Too? It was an amazing, heartwarming chapter on Phish getting you through your experience battling cancer, and just beautiful. Speaking of surviving trauma, and really appreciate you sharing that with the world.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just jump on and say thank you guys also for all three of you coming on to fill our screen and not play Dungeons and Dragons with us. I'm sure it was a disappointment. It's okay. Another time.
But you will all three be invited to the 4th anniversary Dungeons and Dragons game.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll see some of you again there. But thank you all very much. It was very enlightening. Yeah.
It's always interesting talking about something so specific that you're so deep into that someone else isn't. And it's like, how do you talk about it in a way that like you're not driving them crazy and they still, so it's kind of, I appreciate having I don't want to call you two the foils, but having your perspective on this crazy thing that we're into.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. That's the way you keep it fresh. You wrap the fish in foil. So absolutely.
Yeah. That'll do it for this episode of Torah Smash. Our fiscal sponsor is Jewish Creativity International. Our theme music was created by Sean Fogel. You can check out Sean's bands and studio work at www.thesleepywest.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to rate and review us wherever you listen. It helps others find us and is an excellent way to support the podcast. We do want to hear from you and continue today's nerdy discussion. Go to torahsmash.com to find where to connect with us online, purchase swag from our store, support us with a donation, find previous episodes, and more. And what do the band Phish and gefilte fish have in common? It's that sick jam.
Is there an after party? What are we doing now?
The after parties, we have a whole other episode to record.
I'll see you at Shakedown.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
What's the
Shakedown Street? Enjoy the editing.
I don't know why I rushed to speak, but I'm not sure. But I have a preference.
Mitzvah gedola.
Go ahead. Say something. I dare you. Welcome, everybody.
Well, that'll do it for Torah Smash. Thanks for joining us.
Thank goodness we are an edited podcast.